The dark night of the soul comes just before revelation. When everything is lost and all seems darkness, then comes the new life and all that is needed. To begin, I'm going to read a short paragraph from High Magic by Frater Udi. Magic as a reality dance. In an article, English magician Ramsay Dukes touched on the problem of magic and the assertion of reality. People asked him time and time again, how come we Europeans, with our overwhelmingly unmagical and rational view of the world and technology, have been able to suppress for centuries the shamanic native peoples who supposedly have so much magical power? He answers, unexpectedly, but extraordinarily insightful, because we're the better magicians. He explained further that magic principally means establishing a certain intentional reality and asserting it despite any possible resistance from the outside world. This is exactly what the European magician did, and in the meantime, even the most remote shamans of the Amazon or the mountains of Nepal have accepted these values and try to live accordingly. For example, by striving to possess technical devices such as radios, digital clocks, or guns. So the answer to why we are where we are, we have to admit that there are individuals and groups whose magic is just plain better than ours. If you were curious enough to click on this video, then you are probably on some level of an occultist path, or just see you later. Some of you are at a place where it has been only recently revealed that nearly everything we have been presented in media, news, Hollywood, music, education, culture in general has roots in individuals and groups that practice and study some form of secret esoteric knowledge. Some seekers have worked tirelessly to find hidden symbology, iconography, gematria within our systems of influence. There will always be those who fear, reject, and project. There will be those who exploit, manipulate, or harm. The author I mentioned earlier, Frater UD, signs his name with the motto, Ubique Daemon, Ubique Deus. The demon in everything, the God in everything. One man's owl is another man's nightingale. Or, in other words, one man's meat is another man's poison. The few who pass through the superficial understandings will have studied the books, gained an understanding for the rituals and practices, and have experimented with transmuting their will into things made manifest. It should be quite apparent, given what's happening or what's happened in the past couple of months, that the world is under a spell. It should be obvious, but it's not. Once again, because those in the seats of power and control have better magic than the masses. The general population, although on a spectrum of pure conformity to outright rebellion, several in the general population may be quick to identify the deception and the tricks, but rarely are willing nor able to play on the level of those with the greater magic. And many of those with greater magic may not even consider their beliefs, rituals, and philosophies under the realm of magic. Although I doubt this, and no longer should we fall back on the belief that the infamous they are trying wholeheartedly to conceal truths about intentions, revelation of method, geometries, and numbers, etc. If you take the recent case of Microsoft choosing to partner with Marina for the promotion of HoloLens 2, was that pure short-sightedness? And the fallout which witnessed thousands of hate comments, under Bill Gates and Microsoft Socials, were those unpredicted? Could you consider that it was all part of the orchestration? Because I can definitely see whatever happening in the next few months, the seeming rage will turn to passivity with the right grooming techniques, and half of those commenters will be buying HoloLens or an associated technology for themselves, their children, or grandchildren. The resistance for the new technocracy, given the benefit of hindsight, is not planned for as well. And in our known history, were there any technologies that were displaced, rejected, or abandoned because of a minority rebellion? Whole populations were ravished, raped, and pillaged for the sake of the novel. Speaking of the novel, our shelter-in-place state is definitely an experiment, a test market, and a focus group all in one. Data and DNA mining is happening at exabytes per nanosecond. Privacy and economic security and safety are non-issues when the next wave of collective sentiment reflects us begging for bandwidth and pleading for connectivity. As you will see if you watch further, the plan is to democratize AI. So how can I turn this catastrophic thought stream into a positive with a hopeful message? Well, if you watch these few videos on magic, the first being of Grant Morrison from 15 years back. He was the creator of the Invisibles comic series and several other comics. Big proponent of chaos magic. So it was this video that piqued my interest in chaos magic and high magic, and I soon started sigil making soon after that. The middle videos feature the original Marina Abramovich and Christie's ad that got pulled down from public viewing, and the HoloLens in action. The last video is barred from the new series, The Midnight Gospels. I've been on a metaphysical quest for 23 years, and when I came across this Netflix show, I felt like they reduced all my education into a short series of 20-minute clips. I'm very humbled and honored.
So what we're actually watching is this thing coming towards self-awareness and coherence in the same way that a fetus does. We haven't even been born yet. There is no adult on this planet. There's not one adult on this planet, which explains a lot. And it explains why we let fuckers like Bill Clinton bomb the Kosovans. It explains why I let Tony Blair put cameras in the streets. Punk rock, dude. This is a Donna Karan suit. Fuck it. So leading on from these ridiculous, where do you go from that? I was told this stuff when I come out. I'm just this little kid from Govan in Glasgow, which is a real dodgy area. And I didn't go to university. I left school at 18. But suddenly, I found out that if you do these things that you're told by Aleister Crowley, by Wilson, by all these people we read and all these people we've been consuming, but we don't do it, if you actually do what they say, things happen. Things occur exactly as it's described, and we can all do it. So I decided to put this to use in the comic book that I was doing, this thing called The Invisibles. And the idea was to kind of get all this down on paper and somehow look at it, not to accept it as reality, to accept it as purely this is part of human experience. It's a part of human experience that has been described to us for thousands and thousands of years, but for the last 200 has been hidden and made occult for some reason that I don't understand, but seems to have to do with the Industrial Revolution and corporate culture. So these things happen. Magic works. And when I started doing the comic, I found that you could actually make magic happen by writing things and changing the operating system of the universe. It works, and I'm here to tell you to try it when you go home tonight, because it fucking works. And what happens if we all do it? Everyone in this room decides to take control of reality. I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about quantum physics. I'm talking about taking control of things from the quantum level up, from the molecular level up, and it works. This magic works.
And here's the famous section that got deleted.
To move around. So eventually there will be sort of this digital immunity proof that will help facilitate the global reopening up.
Wow, that's just excellent use of English, isn't it? To facilitate the global reopening up.
When we recorded Marina in her performance, we knew that we would be presenting it as something happening in the present time, not as an artifact of something that happened in the past, and trying to create something that feels absolute, that feels human, that feels real. We want to take advantage of something that has never been possible before, which is the ability to convey the truth of a human being in the room.
It's really dealing with immortality in some way, because you are there preserved forever. And that's something that's for me fundamentally important. I believe that art of the future is art without objects. It's just pure transmission of energy between the viewer and artist. To me, mixed reality is this answer.
This was a unique opportunity to take the most legendary artists working now and capture them in such a way that they are translatable forever.
If you're a collector, you're trying to find works that break new ground. We here at Christie's believe that this is that. And it will be the first time that a mixed reality artwork is sold at auction.
There was always a question what you buy when you buy performance. You buy the video or you buy the edition of photographs. Here, you actually can have the artist's presence in your collection.
The first thing that we had to figure out was you had to feel that you were in the room with Marina, not a document of Marina. So HoloLens 2 was created by people who quite clearly have an interest in the audience forgetting that they are using technology. So the purest expression of artistic intent can happen.
I really want viewer to be with me in the space, in here and now. The life is dealing with what is going to stay after I'm not there anymore. And I can face myself. And that's a frightening experience. Really like you're facing your own ghost. There is always this great idea of immortality. Once you die, the work will never die because the work of art can continue. In performance, the piece is only in the memory of the audience and nowhere else. Here, I am kept forever.
First, let me introduce you to Mini-Me. There she is, my perfect holograph. And thanks to the power of HoloLens 2, she just floats right with me. I'm literally holding my hologram, so natural. Now she's a little small to do a keynote. So let's get her up so she can do full-size Japanese keynote. Render keynote.
ホログラムになることには本当に驚くべきことがあります。私たちは最新の複合現実キャプチャ技術を使用し、私のホログラムを作成しています。実在の人物をホログラムとして見たことがあるかもしれませんが、私が実際に日本語を話しているのが新しいのです。私は日本語を話しませんが、私の声とホログラムは完璧な日本語で話しています。これはニューラルテキスト読み上げと呼ばれる最新の人工知能技術、いわゆるニューラル TTS を使用しています。私たちは自分の声の録音を使用し、私のように聞こえる私自身の個人的な音声署名を作成します。 日本語からフランス語、ポルトガル語まで話せます。今、この技術は私たちが働き、遊び、生活する方法に関して、世界中の国境や障壁を取り除くことができると想像してみてください。
Bueno. Hola otra vez.
Think that you're being controlled. But I've always had control. I'm an artist.